And that'll wrap up our 5 o'clock report. We'll be back at 6.
See you then.
On World News Tonight, new information about how the Bush administration got it wrong on Saddam Hussein and uranium from Africa. It all began with a scam in Rome. A special report from Iraq tonight, the dream of liberation, the pain of occupation, 24 hours in Baghdad. Hurricane watch on the Gulf Coast, the latest on the major storm moving in. A closer look at the huge increase in teenagers gambling. The opportunities are everywhere, the consequences disturbing. And going for a great American comeback, 50 years old, with eyes on the big leagues.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight, Terry Moran.
Good evening. We're going to start tonight with an explanation of how the most sophisticated intelligence operation in the world was fooled by a low-level diplomat from Africa. As you probably know, for nearly a week now, the Bush administration has been trying to explain how it came to pass that President Bush, in his State of the Union speech, mistakenly claimed that Saddam Hussein was trying to get uranium in Africa. Today, the president said the main thrust of his case for the Iraq war is and was accurate.
The speeches I have given were backed by good intelligence. And I am absolutely convinced today, like I was convinced when I gave the speeches, that Saddam Hussein developed a program of weapons of mass destruction.
Mr. Bush's claim about Saddam Hussein seeking uranium from Africa was just one part of his case for war. That's important to remember, but it was a very important one. And ABC's Brian Ross joins us to tell us how that claim got into that key speech. Right?
Well, Terry, it seems the whole thing grew out of a scam. An underpaid African diplomat stationed in Rome creating bogus documents which he sold to the Italian Secret Service.
The Italians officially deny it, but intelligence sources tell ABC News the fake documents were created in late 2001 in Rome, in this building, which houses the tiny embassy of Niger. The diplomat responsible, who has now been recalled to Niger, then sold the forged documents to the military branch of the Italian Secret Service for what sources say was a few $1,000s.
This diplomat apparently saw an opportunity to make some money by feeding into the current controversy at the time about Iraq's program of weapons of mass destruction.
And it worked. The information was turned over first to the British and then to the U.S., as both countries sought proof that Saddam Hussein was close to producing nuclear weapons.
The Italians, as a NATO ally, thought that they had some valuable information that played into current NATO requirements, as well as UK and US requirements about Iraq and Saddam Hussein, and they passed it on.
Given that Niger's uranium is fully controlled by international companies, the story made no sense. And as is now well known, the documents themselves, with obsolete letterheads, were soon spotted as forgeries.
Compare signatures, compare dates, compare names, and it was not really very difficult for us to come to a quick conclusion.
But intelligence sources tell ABC News Vice President Cheney played a key and personal role in pushing CIA analysts to confirm the Niger story.
At the State of the Union address this year, Mr. Cheney was in his usual place directly behind the president, but Mr. Bush cited the 16 words that had begun as nothing more, Terry, than a feeble scam to make a few bucks.
A lot of questions still about that story. Brian Ross, thanks a lot. And in Iraq today, there was another U.S. soldier who was killed in an ambush on a convoy at the 3rd Infantry Division in Baghdad. 10 other Americans were injured. And partly because of that security situation, the U.S. military has delayed indefinitely the return from Iraq of about 10,000 troops with the 3rd ID. They've been there for up to 10 months. And at the White House today, President Bush met the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Mr. Annan wants the president to send peacekeeping troops to the West African nation of Liberia. Mr. Bush hasn't decided yet, but he said any U.S. force would be, quote, limited in size and limited in tenure. Liberians are desperate for help. ABC's Martin Seemongal has this report from the capital of Monrovia.
These women have been singing and praying for peace every day for 3 months now. For them and for thousands of Liberians, the answer to their prayers would be the arrival of American troops. They believe the U.S. is the only nation with the power to keep the peace and the money to help rebuild the country.
I know when they come, we'll get peace and we'll be able to move around to do something for ourselves. Even if they don't bring food for us, once they come here and there is peace, we're able to feed ourselves.
The Bush administration says it wants this man, Liberia's President Charles Taylor, to leave now before peacekeepers are sent. Taylor told ABC News today that he would step down only 5 to 10 days after peacekeepers arrive.
No president leaves his country and leave a void in the midst of a bloody civil war. There's got to be some order here, and President Bush should know this.
Taylor also warned of a dangerous power vacuum if he were to leave now.
This is the edge of government-controlled territory. Rebel forces are about 8 miles from here. There is a ceasefire in place, but there are no guarantees it's going to hold. Any peacekeeping force that comes to Liberia is going to have to come here to do its job.
That's going to mean dealing with the young, ill-disciplined militias who patrol the roads in and out of Monrovia, and rebel groups who have said they'll attack any peacekeepers who come to Liberia before Taylor leaves. Martin C. Mungle, ABC News, Monrovia.
Now, the big story in this country, the big storm. And in Texas, they're preparing for it. Tropical storm Claudette, which is in the Gulf of Mexico, is continuing to gain strength as it heads for the state. A hurricane warning was issued today for parts of Texas. A large stretch of the coastline is threatened. ABC's Mike Van Fremd has this report from Corpus Christi.
The storm is already producing swells 10 feet high. And in the waters off Galveston, waterspouts began forming in the surf this morning. It is in the high 90s here, but swimmers are being told to stay out of the water, which is getting extremely rough.
If you walk out just 10 feet into the water, you can feel the undertow pulling at your feet.
Chris and Kristen Rock boarded up their windows today. They've been married 3 years. This is their first house, and they are planning to evacuate.
My biggest concern is the causeway flooding and us not being able to get off in the event of emergency once the storm comes.
Flooding is the biggest concern. Many parts of Texas are expected to receive more than 6 inches of rain tomorrow. And with the expected tidal surge, this causeway may be underwater.
Corpus Christi is the 6th largest port in the country, and workers here are preparing for the worst. Sandbags are going up in all low-lying areas. The Caceres family live in a vulnerable neighborhood. They've decided to head to higher ground.
Well, you never know. That's why we're leaving.
But most people here say they've been through this before and expect to just ride it out. Mike Van Fremd, ABC News, Corpus Christi.
But will Texans be able to just ride it out? The full impact of the storm will most likely be felt in the next day or so. And we spoke late this afternoon to Max Mayfield, who's the director of the National Hurricane Center.
Well, right now we have a strong tropical storm. The maximum sustained winds are 65 miles per hour. We think that there is a chance it will strengthen, and people should be preparing for a Category 1 hurricane.
What can you tell us right now about where Claudette is heading and when she'll get there?
Well, it's headed towards the north-northwest right now very slowly. We think it will turn back more towards the west-northwest, and the center should start coming very near the coast here by early tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully people will exercise some caution and heed the advice of their local officials.
How about rain and the consequent flooding?
Well, if it does get up to Category 1 hurricane status, we would expect about 3 to 5 feet of storm surge above normal tide levels, 5 to 8 inches of rainfall, and then as it comes on shore, we'll also have some isolated tornadoes.
Max Mayfield of the National Hurricane Center will keep an eye on that storm. But when we come back, living and dying in Iraq, 24 hours in Baghdad. A closer look at how lotteries and gambling are affecting kids. A new study finds they're losing in many, many ways. And the fallen umpire's mission to get back to the major leagues, one game at a time.
I've had, humble pie. I know every flavor of it.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
It's the guy who falls. Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie. Price check!
Aflac. Ask about it at work. Aflac.
LL Bean clothing and gear have long been designed to help you cope with most every kind of climate, including the economic climate. This fall, you'll find remarkable values at LL Bean. Every item still made to last with our 100% guarantee of satisfaction. Call today for your free catalog.
What's the matter, Frank?
Heartburn.
Didn't you start taking Prilosec?
Yeah, but it could take up to 4 days to fully kick in.
That's a long time to wait, Frank.
Zantac 75 works fast, right when you need it. Zantac, for people who hate to wait.
In the old days, athlete's foot meant using Lotrimin AF or Tinactin for 4 whole weeks.
Who does that? Today, Lamisil AT kills the fungus with just 1 week's use.
And keeps you athlete's foot free for 3 months.
Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
Our road trips were the best until he couldn't read the map with his regular contact lenses. And wear reading glasses? No way.
Bausch & Lomb introduces soft lens multifocal contact lenses, a unique design clinically proven to let you see clearly, near, far, and in between.
See how beautiful this place is?
Do I ever?
Ask your eye doctor for soft lens multifocal contact lenses from Bausch & Lomb for 150 years, perfecting vision, enhancing life.
It's been a long, tough day and your body can really feel the pain. Time for new Bayer Muscle and Joint Cream. It soothes sore muscles and aching joints by increasing circulation at the site of pain. New Bayer Muscle and Joint Cream. Get moving again, pain-free.
We have a special report tonight about what it's like to live and work in Baghdad 3 months after that city fell to U.S. troops. The disappearance of Saddam Hussein and the order he enforced has been both liberating and frightening for the people who spent decades under his repressive rule. But now they must learn to deal with far less predictable enemies, chaos and violence. ABC's Dan Harris spent a day in Baghdad with an American soldier, a doctor, and an Iraqi mother.
6 a.m., sunrise. Baghdad stirs. 8 a.m., the children stir in the home of Professor Fatin al-Rafahi. Professor al-Rafahi and her husband, who both teach at Baghdad University, say their lives are worse today than they were before the Americans came.
It is a mess. Just a mess.
They haven't been paid since April, and they're scared to let their children play outside.
It is not safe. It's not safe.
8:30 a.m. The soldiers of Alpha Company 136 take turns sleeping while pulling guard duty at Baghdad's Al-Kindi Hospital. 29-year-old Billy Foster is the squad sergeant.
They stop duty.
Sergeant Foster says the boys are the only people he trusts in this dangerous place.
I worry all the time about something happening to one of my guys in our division, 1st Armored Division. Every day we lose somebody. Every day somebody dies. First day I just pray it's not one of our guys.
10:15 a.m., an Army field hospital north of Baghdad.
This girl didn't go with her EKG.
It is Tamara McReynolds' job to treat the U.S. casualties of the near-daily guerrilla attacks. She also treats some of the Iraqis who've been attacking them.
Does that create any mixed feelings on your part?
You know, it's a difficult situation to be in, but as a physician, we take a Hippocratic oath, and it's our job to take care of people.
A half hour later,
this is their state-of-the-art medical facility in Baghdad.
Back at Baghdad's Al-Kindi Hospital, Sergeant Foster makes his rounds, young friend in tow. Healthcare is supposed to be free here, but Foster says many Iraqi doctors demand payoffs.
On rare occasions, we got to lock and load and put our gun in a doctor's face and make him save somebody's life.
12:30. Professor Al-Rafahi prepares lunch. She's angry that the children are confined to the apartment and the hallway. She says she didn't like Saddam Hussein, but she misses the security he provided.
I feel safe because people were afraid of him. We were afraid of him. I myself, I'm afraid of him till now. Till now.
Can I?
5:40.
What's your name?
A soldier who was accidentally shot in the arm is brought into the Army Field Hospital.
Take his boots off, please.
She stabilizes the patient, but says he'll have to be sent out of the country for further surgery. 9:40 p.m. Sergeant Foster's men prepare themselves for the night's mission. Some pray. 10:53. Professor Al-Rafahi's husband locks the family in for the night. She says if the Americans occupy Iraq much longer, they will be in increasing danger.
They'll face serious problems here. So many Americans will be killed. I can assure you, because I know my people.
Minutes later, Sergeant Foster's men set up a roadblock.
You're not going to make everybody happy, no matter what your job is. We try and make as many people as happy as we can, at the same time keep ourselves protected and do our job.
Midnight. Gunfire nearby. Sergeant Foster says he doesn't know whether the U.S. mission in Iraq is worth dying for, but he would most definitely die for his men. Dan Harris, ABC News, Baghdad.
Nightline tonight will have much more of Dan Harris's look at 24 hours in Baghdad, and it's also on abcnews.com. And when we come back, a closer look at the dangers of teenage gambling. The consequences are far worse than losing money.
Good night, oranges. Sleep well. Rest assured that no one here will ever flavor, freeze, or concentrate you. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Discover Simply Orange. Simply unfooled around with.
Crest White Strips, a noticeably wider smile. Couldn't be easier. Crest White Strips, the secret to a wider smile is in the strip, guaranteed.
By age 50, if you're just wishing for good health, good luck. Help improve your odds with Caltrate. The same Caltrate shown in a clinical study to help stop bone loss may also help reduce the risk of recurrent colon polyps. It's never too late for Caltrate.
Why suffer through thick glasses of Metamucil for regularity? Try a refreshing change. Pure, natural water with Fibercon caplets. Just as effective as Metamucil, and Fibercon is refreshingly easier to take.
Cheerios and strawberries have finally gotten together. Berry Burst Cheerios, real strawberries, together with those classic O's, for a taste you can really fall in love with. Berry Burst Cheerios, in both strawberry and triple berry.
Hi. Hi. Mortgage application.
Me too.
Bye. Hi.
The mortgage application with 80% less paperwork from Bank of America. Higher standards.
Imagine what might happen if we could create life from non-living things. Tomorrow, the breakthrough science that's been nearly 4 billion years in the making on World News Tonight.
There's a new study out that caught our eye. It finds a surprising number of teenagers are active gamblers, and that many of them are addicted. It's a problem that goes beyond just the money they lose. Researchers have found that people who take risks associated with gambling face other more harmful dangers. ABC's Bob Woodruff takes a closer look.
In the world of gambling, teenagers are twice as likely as adults to be addicted, most of them betting on card games and sports or buying lottery tickets, which is illegal for minors, but no one seems afraid to admit they play.
I gave my grandma one to buy one. I do it all the time. Give her money for one.
It gives me a little chill up my spine sometimes, just to thrill of scratching them off.
The consequences of teenage gambling go beyond just kids losing money. Studies have found that teens who gamble are also more likely to commit suicide or suffer from other serious problems. Researchers in Delaware found that 8th graders who gambled were 50% more likely to drink alcohol, more than 3 times as likely to use marijuana, and almost 3 times as likely to steal or shoplift.
Well, the consequences can be severe, especially the earlier that you start gambling, the more likely you are to develop a gambling problem. And gambling problems, because there's no blurry eyes, there's no track marks, gambling problems are hidden, and the substance that they abuse is money, and it's astronomical.
Casinos in the U.S. have been increasingly swamped with teenage gamblers. Last year in Atlantic City alone, more than 44,000 kids were turned away from casinos. That's 120 kids every day. So to fight the problem, the Tropicana Casino funded a series of videos to make teenage gamblers aware of the dangers.
The first process is really to get some education in schools. We're losing a generation of young people to gambling.
And the internet has made the problem worse. In 1995, there was only one online gambling site. Today, there are about 1,800, and it is almost impossible to keep children from logging on. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, New York.
A couple of other notes in the news. There was a harrowing moment for Tour de France leader Lance Armstrong today. He was forced to swerve off the road. You see him right there. And his closest competitor crashed right in front of him. Armstrong rode down a steep hill. He cut off part of the course, but he wasn't penalized because he made the detour to avoid an accident, and he didn't gain any time by it. Now Armstrong remains the overall leader after all of that. And the Cuban musician Compay Segundo, leader of the famous group Buena Vista Social Club, has died. Mr. Segundo brought Cuban music to the world. He first became famous in the 1940s and 1950s. After Fidel Castro's revolution, Mr. Segundo worked in a cigar factory for 20 years. And then in the 1990s, a whole new generation learned about Buena Vista Social Club through a movie and a Grammy-winning album. Compay was as Cuban as our flag, said a fellow musician. He was 95. And when we come back, one man's long mission to make it back into the big leagues.
It's always been our dream to run a bed and breakfast. The busy season, it's only 3 months long, but we gear up for it all year. And I had to go on chemo. Doctor said I might become anemic, maybe feel weak, but it just drained me. The day we talked about canceling guests.
Maybe we should cancel the Nielsen's.
They've been coming for years. I had to do something, so I asked my doctor about Procrit.
Procrit is for chemotherapy-related anemia in patients with most kinds of cancer. If you're on chemo and too tired to do the things you used to do, talk to your doctor about Procrit. Procrit helps rebuild red blood cells, and more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Here come the Nielsen's.
I'm ready.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need, your strength for living.
Around here, there's no slowing down.
Best Western is the largest hotel chain in the world. Over 4,000 hotels in over 80 countries, all inviting you to get a good night's sleep. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Visit bestwestern.com.
It's the unexpected touches that make an anniversary special. Announcing the Lincoln Mercury Anniversary Clearance, featuring end-of-the-model year savings on every Lincoln and Mercury, including our great lineup of SUVs, Lincoln Navigator, the all-new Lincoln Aviator, and the award-winning Mercury Mountaineer with no-charge leather seating. Now get 0% financing for 60 months or up to $4,000 cash back, plus your dealer's best model year-end price. This is one anniversary you don't want to miss. Hurry to your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Introducing Red Lobster's World of Crab. Sweet snow crab leg dishes inspired by recipes from around the world. Like our delicious new Asian garlic crab legs. It's a taste of the Far East. Come share your love of crab legs now at Red Lobster.
Share the love. Looking to put more miles in your tank? All Shell gasolines are now specially formulated to give you better mileage, helping to take you farther.
Every morning, the president reads one report first. This top secret document updates all threats against America. This report is called The Threat Matrix. ABC presents a powerful new drama about our team protecting America. Threat Matrix, coming Thursdays this fall to ABC.
A high-ranking former CIA operative with top clearance in the war on terror speaks out for the first time. Shocking allegations against the Saudi government, only on Good Morning America tomorrow.
Finally, in Chicago tomorrow, the best players in Major League Baseball will take the field for the annual All-Star Game. And our next story is about two men who once took the field with the best as umpires. They were at the top of their game before they had a falling out with the majors and ended up back at the bottom of the barrel. Here's ABC's Bob Jamieson.
Like a program today?
This is as far from the big leagues as you can get. Salem, Oregon. Tonight, the hometown Volcanoes meet the Everett Aqua Sox.
Behind home plate tonight will be Bob Davidson.
So what's 18-year Major League veteran Bob Davidson doing here in the Northwest League?
My goal is to reach the major leagues again and getting better and better, and I'm getting it back to where it was in 99.
In 99, Davidson, who worked 2 All-Star games and a World Series, made a colossal blunder, along with 56 other umpires, by resigning to gain leverage during a contract dispute with Major League Baseball. Some were allowed to come back, but not Davidson.
I know who to blame, and it's me, and this is why I'm trying to do this again and trying to rectify my mistake.
Davidson and Tom Hallion, another umpire who is starting over, find themselves back where they were more than 2 decades ago. Hallion, who is 46, umpires in the New York Penn League, in places like Staten Island, New York, and Mahoning Valley, Ohio. Major League umpires earn $200,000 a year. Hallion earns about $5,000. For Davidson, it's 1974 all over again. No more first-class plane rides or 5-star hotels.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the situation that put me here.
The 50-year-old drives from game to game with his 21-year-old rookie umpiring partner, Scott Jarrett. They also share a motel room.
Davidson?
And cramped dressing rooms, where they rub up 4 dozen game balls, something Davidson never did in the bigs.
The perfect baseball.
It is the lowest rung on baseball's ladder, but Davidson has no other choice but to start his climb back from here. Do you think you'll make it back?
I know that's not a guarantee. No one's made any promises or anything, but in my heart, I feel that, I'm going to make it back.
For now, it's on to Eugene and Yakima. Bob Jamieson, ABC News, Salem, Oregon.
Click on Giant Street.
Hope he makes it. That's our report on World News tonight. I'm Terry Moran, and for all of us here at ABC News, have a good evening.
She was a TV golden girl. Millions of viewers turned to her for news until she became the big story. Murdered in broad daylight. One astonishing crime with millions of possible suspects. Tonight, it's Murder at 10 on ABC.
First, fast, accurate. News 2 at 6 starts now.
I simply said that he could not go back to Tara and that the wall was over.
A new community with a past that's making waves in Lawrence County. Good evening, everyone. A man with a concept